I can't tell you how many times people have told me to forgive and forget. But notice the pastor didn't forgive me for just reporting him, by saying no, by setting a boundary, by even trying to do it in the right way. Following the, know what they call it, what's the verbiage they use? The proper procedures, the right steps. I talked to the elders. I had a one-on-one meeting with the pastor before a lot of horrible things went down. I begged, I pleaded to be listened to, and I was told whatever it is I was complaining about, it wasn't my job to worry about it, essentially because I was a woman. When I lost my job at Redeemer, and I gotta be honest, the abuse was extensive there and is only gonna get worse. And I was met with constant retaliation. And then essentially when I left, they were not done harassing me. And so to people's comments of, Jordan, you just have to forgive it. You have to just forgive it and move on. I wanna be really clear. Me talking about the lessons I've learned from this, what happened, what the facts were, expressing my pain and my frustration, that has nothing to do with a lack of forgiveness. How do you know I haven't forgiven it? Forgiveness is simply, I wish them no harm, I wish them well. I hope that they reflect on this and come to a different conclusion and make different choices regarding me and other people. That's why you share the concern. It doesn't mean that you have this really bitter, unforgiving heart. It means you do care about, you care about you and you care about them. You care about the matter at hand. But people have just been like, you gotta forgive. Talking about injustice doesn't mean you're not forgiving. That's not the same thing. You're just seeking justice. I wish them no harm. If something bad happened to them, it would make me sad. I pray for them and I don't want anything bad to happen to them. So what point am I really trying to make here? They called my next job. They retaliated. So before you ramble on about advice about victims of church abuse really just needing to forgive, have you talked to the pastors about their hearts? Do you see the double standard? So I guess my question back to listeners is, would you say the same thing to a pastor? If you think you were done wrong by Jordan, you need to forgive her. If you think that she had no right to do what she did, or if you're not done talking with her about it, talk to her. How about that? Why are you calling her next boss? Why aren't you getting on the phone and saying, we need to have another meeting? I don't feel like this is all wrapped up. How do I know? I'm being tempted to call your next boss. Is this gonna keep happening to people at Redeemer? Is this gonna keep happening to women? So by forgiving, you're saying that I should never talk about it again. That's not how forgiveness works. We have a really messed up theology of forgiveness. Forgiveness usually is weaponized to keep women from talking. And I will not be called bitter because I'm seeking reconciliation on this, or justice on this, or advocacy work on this. That's not bitter, you guys. I've been called bitter, unforgiving. My question to the people that have said that, have you talked to the Redeemer pastors about their deep, deep need to forgive me? And the proof that potentially they didn't is they called my next boss at my next job and kept me from getting promoted. Wow. Do you have strong opinions about that? Or is your theology really just about selective outrage? We take these truths, we apply them to powerless women, we never hold pastors accountable. That's what makes it culty. That's not a church. The church standards apply to everyone, and congregants are allowed to speak up about harm that's caused them. Matthew 18 says, if your brother sinned against you, go and tell them. If they don't listen, bring a witness. It doesn't say the only people allowed to do this are men. Technically speaking, when I read that verse, it means a girl in the youth group could go to a founding pastor, even a famous one, and say, hey, you hurt my feelings when you said this. And he could be held accountable to that. And if he refuses to listen to her, she could bring a witness and try it again to get him to listen. That's what that means. And I cannot believe we have a double standard. We don't let everyone enjoy the verses. The verses are used and weaponized and applied to certain people. And then people are ignorant to the fact that well, wait a minute, are you gonna apply that to the pastoral staff, the Redeemer staff? Do any of these passages apply to them? Apparently not. And that's another reason I cannot, in good conscience, accommodate cultures like that. And I don't have to, neither do you. You don't have to participate in cultures that help create systemic harm and double standards. All right, I'm finally done. I really am finishing this walk with my adorable dog, who now is in a bag. Say hi. She's done. She's done with this dog walk, and so am I. Thanks for listening.